2,000, 3,000, 4,000, even 5,000. These are all the prices I hear when people talk about how much do I need for my dream desk. Do I need 10,000? How much money do I need? But I'm here to tell you, you do not need to spend that much. It's actually a lot cheaper than you think, and a few simple tricks can completely change your setup without having to spend that much money. Let's go. When designing a setup, I always break it down into two parts, and these are the only two parts I think you need. Now, number one is functions, and number two is aesthetics. And I don't care what anyone says, these are the only two things that matter at a setup. These are the two things you're designing it for. Function is just how you use the space, what you want it for. Is it productivity, workflow, or gaming? It's how the space works with you and how you use it. And aesthetics is how it looks, obviously, visually, how you lay everything out, and how you want it to suit your visual appeal. Now, starting off, this is the foundation of the setup, and I'd say it goes into functions and aesthetics, and this is the desk. This is the foundation of everything, and it's where you build the setup. Now, this can be extremely budget. My IKEA desk in this video is 200 centimeters long, which is 2 meters, and this I think only cost me under $100, maybe I think under $50. It was really cheap. Then you combine it with a drawer and then some leg stands, and this can be a really budget way. And in my opinion, it's the best one because it's simple, it's white, and you can do whatever you want to the setup and it will always match. And overall, when you're building a setup, you just want to make sure you have enough space to fit everything. This is a really long desk. This is 200 centimeters, and as you can see, I still don't have that much space, so make sure you have enough room and plan this out properly before building a setup. Now, once you've picked out your desk, you're going to have to decide what kind of setup you want. Is it going to be a console, a PC, or a laptop setup? Because each of these completely determine the layout of the setup, because they all take up different amounts of space. Now, if you're watching this video, I imagine PC or even console setup is going to be the most popular. But just keep in mind, a PC does take up quite a lot of space, especially the case I have at the moment, as you can see how wide it is, so just keep that in mind. And if you have carpeted floor like me, you're not going to want to be putting it on the floor, so just get a big enough desk. And now we're moving on to another key element of a setup, and that is monitor or monitors. I say plural because you can either have a single monitor, dual monitor, triple monitor, quad monitor. I've even seen 5 monitors at some setups. But what I'd recommend personally is starting out with one monitor and see how you feel with it. And then if you think you need a second monitor, you can always add one on later. But again, this is where the desk is really important. Just make sure you have enough room, because as you can see from my two, they do take up quite a lot of space. But this is also mount dependent. I've got one in portrait and one in landscape, and this out of the two actually should take up less, but I've got mine quite spaced out. Some people might have them closer, which is obviously going to take up less room. As for resolution, my main one is 1440p 180Hz, and my second one is 1080p 240Hz. And I'd say in the big 2.5, I think you do need 1440p. It's not needed, but it does look a lot more crisp. The colors are better, and just gaming is more immersive. And I think 1440p is the way to go. But that's only if your system can handle it. If you have a weaker PC, stick with 1080p. It's better getting high FPS and better quality. Next thing I'm going to be talking about is overall style and design of the setup. So what I mean by this is, what design do you want your setup to look like? So do you like comp setups, or maybe natural setups, or maybe a mixture of the both? And I think mine personally is like, it's not a mixture of the both, but it's minimal, but then I still have other elements such as plants, I have speakers, and I have other stuff which you wouldn't typically find on just a regular comp setup. But my setup is also really good for gaming, as it is good for productivity. Now, I think everyone's personal preferences change over time. I know my setup now is not how I would have wanted it maybe 2 years ago. So what I'd say is the expensive parts like your PC, your monitor, your keyboard, stuff like that, just get plain black or white colors, as this ensures that no matter what you do to your setup, they will always match everything else. Like if you have a black PC, black monitors, you can add stuff around it and it will always fit in. Whereas if you get maybe colors that fit a specific color scheme at that time, if you want to change it, you're going to have to go and change everything else, and it's going to be a lot more expensive than it needs to be. But if you need help kind of deciding what sort of setup you want to go to before you build it, I'd say go on Pinterest, just search up gaming setup, productivity setup, workspace setup, whatever you want your setup to be, and just scroll down for like 30 minutes, pin all the ones you want, and then collect them together. Maybe put all the images into AI or something and say, I like these images, can you design a setup for me? And then base it off that. That's probably the best way to go about it. And now that we've covered most of the main elements of a desk setup, we also need to talk about another really important part, maybe the most important part, and it always gets overlooked, and that is the chair. Now a lot of people want to get a gaming chair like the racer style chairs, and these are good, they look good, don't worry, I've used plenty of these in the past, but they are not the most supportive. They look cool, but so this is what I talk about in terms of aesthetics and function. Aesthetically they look really good, they make the setup look gamery, whatever, they look cool, but then function, they're not as good because they don't provide you the same posture support and adjustment that maybe office chairs or productivity chairs will provide you. I used to have a gaming style chair, just a generic one I picked up on Amazon, and what I noticed over time is the padding would just go, they'd become flat, no cushioning, and then I'd have to change it because it would be uncomfortable. But then I switched to a Herman Miller chair, and yes, these are expensive, but the padding does not go. I can sit on this for basically the whole day and it will not change at all. It's really supportive, there's lots of adjustment, and honestly I think it looks really good in my setup. You don't have to spend Herman Miller money, there are a bunch of options just on Amazon or other web stores which have a lot of support and will give you all the same benefits. So just be wise when you pick a chair. Remember that you're sitting on it the whole day and it is not just for looks, it matters. But thank you for watching. That basically wraps up this video. I've covered all the stuff I think is important when designing a desk or even upgrading one. Maybe you have a desk set up and you want to upgrade it and you're looking for some ideas. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and comment and subscribe if you think this channel has content you would want to watch. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.